This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs on the Hogstye Network.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent, Season 5, Episode 17, and brought to you by Rick Snyder's Washington on all the social media. I'm Rick Snyder.
And I'm Matt.
And we're back on the mighty Hogstye Network on audio and YouTube channel here on video. So please watch, comment, share, whatever. Go look at it all. All right, so Washington's coming back finally after that nice break, playing Thursday. And they're at Buffalo. Got to hit the road after 4 straight home games between preseason and regular season. That's pretty unusual. All right, I think Buffalo's my dark horse to win, or at least get to the Super Bowl again. Washington is 1-7 against Buffalo since they beat them in the Super Bowl. So it's kind of weird. And I have a feeling I know which way I'm going to take, because, Matt and I are going head to head on picks this season, and Matt's a little ahead of me after 2 games, like 2-0 on there.
Yeah.
But Buffalo's a good team, man. And Washington, to me, you got lucky against the Giants, or you'd be 0-2, and we'd really be screaming. But they're a better team than that.
Yeah.
But they got to step up if they're going to beat Buffalo. They got to step that pass pressure. Everything's got to step up to beat Buffalo.
Yeah, and you've got another example of a quarterback that is not afraid to pull the ball down and run when needed, in Josh Allen, just like you had last week against Daniel Jones. This Buffalo team is, like you said, a Super Bowl contender. They are primed and ready to take that next step. I just think they're in a different class than Washington right now. I still think, Ron has talked about in the past that he wants to build this team like Buffalo, and Buffalo was able to, build up their defense through free agency in the draft. They brought in key playmakers at wide receiver. They drafted Devin Singletary, if I'm not mistaken, and then they went out and they got their quarterback. And I kind of think that that model is what we're mimicking. We're still out on the quarterback, I think. We'll talk about it later in the year, depending on how Heineke performs throughout the rest of the season. But, I like Taylor, but I don't see, unless for some reason he just becomes, Steve Young. I still think that Ron goes out and gets a quarterback, but we'll worry about that towards the end of the season. Right now we're focusing on Buffalo. I just think Buffalo is in a class above Washington, and I think Buffalo is going to win pretty easily.
When your fans start tailgating Saturday morning instead of Sunday, and all the tables are broken by midnight or whatever, it's crazy. I've covered a few games in Buffalo. It's not the most intense experience you'll see league-wide, despite the craziest fans on that. But you can go in there and win a game. It's not like City or Pittsburgh's pretty intimidating. Oakland was. I don't know what Vegas is like yet. I saw a game in Vegas on TV. It kind of looks like more of a
it's like the LA crowd. It's like the Rams and Chargers crowds, where it's more of a place to be seen than it is. And the problem with Vegas is, it's just going to be all the other teams' fans traveling because they get a free trip to, they're going to go to Vegas and they're going to happen to see a football team.
Yeah, everybody on the Raiders had a brand new jersey on in the stands.
Yep.
And the casinos comp out everything. And it's not like Cleveland, or something like that.
Right.
Cleveland can get crazy too. I don't know. Some live stadiums are just a whole new level of insanity.
Yeah, but Buffalo is very similar to Cleveland. It's a team that used to be pretty good, that's had their woes of late, and especially with Buffalo, the only other team in town is the Sabres, and they suck. So,
Yeah. And Washington's got to be happy you're going there in September, as I've been there in like December. And we used to go over to Niagara Falls nearby to see it. I'd see these huge chunks of ice going over the falls in December, so, they're lucky on that point. But I think overall, you got to protect Heineke every week. Every week. Charles Leno, gave one up, and there was the end of that quarterback. So that McKissick, I think McKissick did nothing in game 1. Game 2 had a really good role in spots. Didn't have the ball a lot, but strategically did it very well on all of that. And your linebackers, I don't know, Jamin Davis, I saw him at least in game 2. So he's not missing in action. He's just a missing link. I don't quite see him there. I hate to get on the guy after 2 games. It's just, man, you put all in on this guy to be your final piece of the 85 Bears, and it's not it. And he's not even on the field a lot of times,
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people are going to second guess that pick until he actually comes into form. But, because we could have made a lot of people say, oh, we could have made the jump and got Mac Jones. Look at what Mac Jones is doing. You're not guaranteed that Mac Jones was going to do that here because he's got Belichick, he's got McDaniels, and he's not only that, but they went out and spent so much money on offensive weapons that who's to say Mac Jones would come here and have the same success? Mac Jones got put into the best situation possible for Mac Jones. There's no guarantees that he would have came here and did the same thing. So, but like I said, everybody will second guess that pick until Jamin rounds into form. But I did say it last week and I'll say it again. A wise man told me one time, I don't want guys from, small schools. Give me the Alabama, the Ohio State, the Floridas. Give me those players. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that guy was smart. Yeah, I mean, overall, they in the defense, I don't know what Del Rio is doing sometimes. 2 games now, the other team's gone down the field, scored on them right away. I mean, that's on coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, yeah. So once again, you're playing from behind. You got to try and get ahead of this team for Buffalo. You want to try and get the early score, get ahead,
mm-hmm.
and then play a little more run balance, with things.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that last time, but this defense can't just wake up in the 3rd quarter and go, okay, let's start playing. Or when they're inside their own 20, they're pretty decent there too.
Well, let me ask you this. We just talked about linebackers. Would you have rather have kept Ryan Kerrigan?
Then take Jamin?
Well, no, then just have Ryan as a piece of this linebacking core.
Yeah, I think he would have helped them. Jared Norris is their 4th or 5th.
Mm-hmm.
He's a special teams guy more. So you don't really have that depth there. I would have rather seen Ryan stay, maybe play more. But I don't know. He couldn't cover anybody out in space either. Neither is this team doing that well yet either at it. But I would have rather seen him. I haven't noticed in Philly yet how he's done.
Well, and we also saw Bostic against the Giants play very well. So
Bostic, and I still like Cole Holcomb, right?
Oh yeah, Cole's definitely a good player.
So that's helping. But they need to get this defense back in gear of saying, hey, boys, you're being paid a lot. You want to get paid a lot. You got to start, got to stop people. And that pass rush has to show up.
Yeah, and somebody that we talked about a lot in the preseason who we were really impressed with, who I have not been impressed with the past 2 games, has been Landon Collins. I know he's coming back from injury, and now, preseason is obviously different than the regular season, but I don't know. I need to see more from Landon being such a high-priced free agent that was brought in here.
Yeah, I know fans have been really hard on him. I don't think he's done that badly. Not living up to the free agency tag.
Yeah. I mean, he had a really good tackle the other night against the Giants. I do remember that.
Yeah. And of course, fans are ready to run Hopkins out of town when he misses 2 field goals in the preseason, but I think it's 7 of 8 since then. So, but you need touchdowns to win these games. You don't need field.
Yep.
That's the there. So one other team in town is still playing, the Washington Nationals. They are 20-50 since the 1st of July, which I think they said tied for their worst ever mark here in Washington. And it's just unwatchable at times to see them. And like, wow, we're not drawing anybody because there's nobody coming to watch.
There's nobody to see except for Soto.
Yeah, I mean, I like Ryan Zimmerman to watch him, but it's a tough one to watch. And
but you're not guaranteed. If you buy a ticket tomorrow, you're not guaranteed to see Ryan because he's a bench player. I mean, Soto's your only everyday player that you look. We talked about it in the break. Riley Adams, these guys that they've brought in, sure, they're nice players right now, and you'd be interested to see them, but they're not rounding into form. Aside from Soto, I mean, since the trade deadline, this team clearly, with their moves, made it that, hey, we're sellers, we're out of the run, we're out of the race, we're just going to rebuild and retool for next season.
Yeah, I think the last 3 games they have in the season is against Boston here.
Mm-hmm.
That'll
It'll be 95% Boston fans.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'd like to go see it. I'd still like to go see a game.
Yeah.
And now there, I don't have to worry about the COVID problem as much.
Yeah.
When you're out there, I wonder because the football team isn't drawing great. They're drawing okay, but I wondered if the COVID thing is still scaring people from coming to games. I mean, it's open air, but you're sitting right next to people on this Delta thing is so contagious. I wonder if that's why people aren't coming to games at all.
No, I don't think it's COVID. I don't think it's anything. It's the fact that the stadium is garbage. I mean, we saw it in week 1 with the water main break or whatever. But the stadium is junk. It's old. They need to move. For 2, there's a lot of hype around this team, but let's be honest. The experience sitting on your couch is 100 times better than going to the stadium. You've got HD TV with replays and, whatever food and drink you want. And when the game's over, you don't have to drive home. You walk to your bedroom.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, there's so much buzz about it, but until you start really winning,
yeah,
the crowd really liked it. They were singing "Hail to the Redskins" after touchdowns, because people said, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "They're not. Whatever name they pick, you can't change it to "Hail to the Wolves" or whatever the heck it is."
No, it won't.
I'll sing the one sentence.
We already figured it out. When they become the Wolves or whatever, they're going to play, the Wolf Howl and all that stuff.
Well, and there's no band because of the COVID situation is why there's. So they tried to play music over fans that were singing, but it was such a good game that everybody was just into it. A lot of Giants fans there, of course.
I'll tell you, there was, and it was very, very audible on my television when Fitzpatrick got hurt against the Chargers and week 1, when Taylor walked out, there was a huge Heineke. Like everybody's amped up for this kid, but except for like ESPN, they're not very hyped up for him for some reason. I don't know. I'm just so tired of being disrespected in the national media, but winning cures that.
It absolutely does. And, Heineke gets compared to Kurt Warner, and there's some similarities to it. Kurt Warner, I said for years should have been in the Hall of Fame till then because the man had a lot of success, but nobody wanted to claim it. But he had success 2 places.
Mm-hmm.
He was a nice quarterback, and he deserved to finally show up.
Well, he led 2 different teams to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, who else does that? Nobody.
Right.
So one other thing, there's only one 3-0 team in the nation, and it's my Maryland Terrapins. Okay, they beat. They had a decent road win against Illinois.
That was an impressive win Friday night.
They beat Howard. I don't know, was it 58-0 or something? They got to stop playing. And they beat West Virginia, and West Virginia just beat Virginia Tech.
Yep.
So, they're playing Kent State. So I'm thinking it's another win there. I'm going to take Maryland.
Yeah, definitely. I'll take Maryland against Kent State, but then you're going to get into Big Ten play, and it gets a little harder because you got to play your Michigans, your Michigan States, your Ohio States. I know they get to play Rutgers. That's not a bad one. Minnesota.
Yeah, but you're 4-0 when you go into all this. So
did they change the bowl eligibility stats or requirements, or do you still only have to win 6?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you don't win 6, you deserve to go to a bowl at this point. But, Tagliova, is that how I say it? Tagliova.
You're talking about Talia Tagovailoa?
Yeah, whatever it is, man.
I don't know how to say it. I just call him Tua. Tua's his brother. He's in Miami.
Little Tua. They've done well. I'm happy to see them, actually bouncing along here. So, I see Maryland do something again.
Be nice.
Against Little Sisters of the Poor, whatever, on there. All right. I guess we got to run it here. By the way, I'm taking Buffalo. Who are you taking?
I'm taking Buffalo.
For the record. Yeah, I don't even know the spread yet.
No.
So, on Rick Snyder's Washington on Twitter, you'll see the updates on spreads and stuff. I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
And we'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Seasons of Discontent on the Hogstye Network.